Today, we are diving deep into what Napoleon Hill called the workshop of the mind. This is one of the most powerful principles from his classic, Think and Grow Rich. And we're going to see how this incredible faculty isn't just about daydreaming. It's a real, tangible tool you can use to literally build the future you want.
So let me ask you a question. What on earth do these three things have in common? I mean, you've got a global beverage empire, a fastener that was inspired by a walk in the woods, and a simple cart that totally changed how we shop. The answer isn't some complicated business degree or a massive marketing budget. It's something way more fundamental, something we all have.
You guessed it, it's imagination. Every single one of those things started as a simple idea, just an impulse that was given shape, form, and a plan for action right inside someone's mind. Napoleon Hill called imagination the literal workshop where all plans are created. It's the place where your desires first start to become real.
So here's our game plan. We're going to break down exactly how this mental workshop operates. We'll look at the two different forms of imagination. I'll give you a practical formula to strengthen yours. We'll see how it built actual fortunes, and then we'll map out your path to putting it to work for yourself. All right, let's start with this core idea, the mind's workshop. Seriously, picture it. Your mind has a dedicated space where all the magic happens. Every great invention, every successful company, every brilliant plan, it all started right here. This is ground zero for turning a thought that you can't touch into riches you absolutely can.
Hill's definition here is just so powerful. I want you to notice it's not about just thinking of stuff. It's an active faculty that gives your desire shape, form, and action. That means it's not some passive gift you're born with. It's a tool that we can sharpen and get better at using. And the most empowering part, the only real limit is how much you decide to develop it and use it.
So how does this workshop actually function? Well, according to Hill, it runs on two distinct forms of imagination. Think of them as the two primary tools you've got at your disposal. And understanding how to use both of them is the key to unlocking all of its power. Okay, on one hand, you've got what's called synthesized imagination. You can think of this as your mind's remix artist. It takes all your past experiences, your education, things you've observed, and it mashes them up into new combinations. Then you've got creative imagination. This is more like an antenna. This is where you get those brand new ideas, those sudden flashes of insight, those hunches that seem to come out of absolutely nowhere. But here's the thing, and this is really important. Don't get too caught up in telling them apart. The real takeaway here is that you just have to use it, period. It's just like a muscle. The more you exercise your imagination, the stronger and more responsive both of these forms will become for you. So, how do we actually do that, right? How do we build that mental muscle and turn imagination from this kind of vague concept into an active, powerful tool that gets us results? Well, let's get into a really practical formula for doing just that. Here it is, a formula adapted from W. Clement Stone. It's called R2A2. It's simple. First, you recognize the raw materials all around you. Facts, objects, even problems. Next, you relate them. You start connecting the dots between things that other people don't see are connected. From there, you assimilate those connections into a brand new idea. But none of it matters without that final step. You have to apply it. You have to put it to use. You know, practicing this R2A2 formula every single day can literally retrain your mind to see opportunities everywhere you look. To help you with that, we've actually created a detailed study guide on how to implement it into your daily life. If you want a copy, just comment the word 1 down below and we'll get it right over to you. Okay, so we've covered the theory. Now it's time for the proof. Let's look at a few incredible real-world stories of how people applied these exact principles to turn the simplest ideas into world-changing empires. Our first story doesn't start in some fancy boardroom. Nope. It begins with an old country doctor and a secret formula that was bubbling away in a backyard kettle. So that secret formula, it was sold for just $500. But the buyer, a man named Asa Candler, he added an ingredient that was worth billions: imagination. See, the original creator just saw a local drink, but Candler, he envisioned a global brand. He imagined a refreshing drink in the hands of every person on the planet. That imaginative leap, not just the recipe, is what built the Coca-Cola empire. All right, next up, here's a story that proves a multi-million-dollar idea can come from the most annoying places, like saying a simple walk in the woods with your dog. So after a walk, an engineer named George Demestral found his dog and his pants were covered in these sticky burrs. Now, most of us, we'd just get annoyed and pull them off. But his curiosity kicked in. He put one under a microscope and saw it was covered in these thousands of tiny perfect hooks. And that was the aha moment. His imagination immediately asked the question, what if I could make this myself? What if I could recreate this synthetically? And that simple question, born from an everyday nuisance, became Velcro. And for our last story, let's head to a grocery store where a sharp owner noticed a simple problem that was literally costing him a fortune every single day. A store owner named Sylvan Goldman saw a problem. People stopped shopping once their little hand baskets got too full or too heavy. He was losing sales. So his mind started connecting things he saw every day. He looked at a folding chair, and it just clicked. A frame, wheels, a place to put not one but two baskets. The shopping cart seems so obvious to us now, right? But it took that act of synthesized imagination to connect those existing parts into something new that would completely revolutionize retail forever. All these stories prove the same incredible point. Ideas are the true starting point of all fortunes. Coca-Cola, Velcro, the shopping cart, they were all just intangible impulses in someone's mind before they were anything else. So, let's bring this all back to you. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. An idea is abstract. It's just a thought floating around. But the moment you write down a definite plan to get what you want, you take the very first real step in turning that thought into its physical counterpart. The act of writing is the bridge from the workshop of your mind to the real world. It's that crucial. The only thing separating you from a fortune like the ones we just talked about could be a single idea that gets activated by your imagination. So the real question isn't if you can do it. The real question is, what will you choose to imagine and build first? Imagination is unbelievably powerful, but it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. It's one of the 13 principles for success that Napoleon Hill laid out. To see how it connects with everything else, like desire, faith, and planning, you can continue your journey right now by exploring our complete playlist on all 13 principles.